Never in my wildest dreams did I think a small favor for my neighbor would unravel into an evening I'd carry with me forever. But isn't that just life's little trick? Tossing surprises our way when we're least braced for them. It was a warm, muggy night in mid-July. The kind where the air feels heavy with secrets. I just finished tidying up after dinner. The lingering fragrance of garlic and herbs still swirling through my kitchen. The house was hushed, save for the far-off hum of cicadas serenading the night, and the soft murmur of a late-night talk show drifting from the living room television. Visitors weren't on my mind, so when a knock rapped at my front door, I froze mid-step dish towel dangling from my hands. Opening it revealed a sight I hadn't expected. Ethan, my neighbor's son, standing there like a figure carved from the summer heat. He was tall, broad-shouldered. A young man of 25 with dark hair, slightly damp and tousled from the humidity. I'd known him since he was a lanky teenager. Always kind, always quick with a warm smile. Yet bathed in the gentle glow of my porch light. He seemed different somehow, more present. "Hey, Mrs. Harper," he said, his deep voice edged with a flicker of hesitation. "Sorry to bug you so late, but could you give me a lift? My car's dead, Mom's already out cold." And he scratched the back of his neck. Looking a touch bashful, I left my wallet at home, so a cab's off the table. I paused, caught off guard. It was late, and I was already settled into my cozy night attire. Just an old t-shirt and loose pajama pants. But Ethan had a special place in my heart. He was a good soul, dependable and sweet. With a playful sigh and a tiny smile tugging at my lips, I shook my head. "Give me 5 minutes to throw something on." His face broke into a grin. "Thanks, Mrs. C, you're the best." 10 minutes later, we were rolling through our quiet little town. The streets lay still under the soft glow of streetlights, casting long shadows that stretched across the pavement, like whispered promises. My car's air conditioner huffed valiantly against the sticky heat, mingling with the faint lavender scent wafting from the air freshener. "So what's up with your car?" I asked, flicking my eyes toward him, as I drove. Ethan let out of breath, shaking his head. "Battery's toast, I think I left the headlights on too long." I chuckled softly. "That's a costly oops." "You're telling me," he groaned, while a slow bluesy tune purred from the radio, wrapping us in a cocoon of quiet closeness. For a stretch, we didn't say a word. The silence wasn't empty, though. It carried a weight, something unspoken simmering between us. I couldn't quite name it, but I felt its pull. Then Ethan broke through the stillness. "Do you ever stop and think how fast time slips by?" I glanced at him all the time. Feels like high school was just yesterday. He stared out the window, lost in thought. "Same here, 1 minute I'm a kid. The next I'm scrambling to figure out my life. And it's like I'm already behind schedule." I nodded, the truth of it sinking in deep. Life has this funny way of making us feel late to our own story, no matter how many years we've got under our belt. He turned to me then, his gaze lingering a heartbeat too long. "You ever feel that?" I swallowed, caught by the quiet yearning in his tone. Something earnest that sent my heart skittering. "All the time," I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. That sparked a shift I hadn't seen coming. We dove into a conversation that wound through life's twists. Dreams we'd let fade, choices we wished we'd made differently. I opened up about my younger days, the risks I'd sidestepped, the love I'd lost, the moments I'd let drift away. somewhere in the weave of it all, I realized Ethan wasn't just reflecting on himself. His words reached toward me, toward us, hinting at a connection that had been quietly taking root. In the night's stillness, by the time we pulled up to his spot, a dimly lit apartment complex on the town's edge, the air between us was thick, charged with something neither of us was ready to label. He hesitated, hand on the door. "Mrs. C.I." My voice came out gentle but firm. "Ethan?" He exhaled, shaking his head. "Never mind." But as he stepped out, he paused, turning back to meet my eyes. For a fleeting second, the world blurred around us, suspended. Then he was gone, melting into the dark. Sleep dodged me that night. My mind looped through the drive, our words the way Ethan's gaze seemed to see, straight through to something deeper, beyond just the neighbor he'd always known. I tried to convince myself I was spinning a tale out of nothing, reading too much into a simple exchange. But my heart knew better. Morning crept in restless and uneasy. I drifted through my routine coffee, a stroll watering the plants. But that shift inside me clung tight, unshakable. I didn't think I'd see him again so soon. Just past noon, another knock jolted me. My breath caught as I hesitated, hand hovering over the knob a fraction too long. There he stood, framed in the warm afternoon sun. Ethan looked different in daylight. His tan skin glowed, the sharp lines of his jaw stood out, and his gray t-shirt hugged his broad frame, in a way I hadn't quite clocked before. "Hey," he said. His voice rough, like he'd been mulling this visit over as much as I had. "Hey," I tossed back, keeping it casual. A pause hung between us, heavy and loaded. Until I broke it. "Everything all right?" He shifted his weight, letting out of breath. "Yeah, just wanted to say thanks for last night." I crossed my arms, leaning against the doorframe. "You already did, I know. But I wanted to do it right." He held up a small brown paper bag. "Got these from that cafe on Main. I remembered you're a fan of their pastries." That threw me off balance. I took the bag, our fingers brushing, and that spark from the night before flickered back to life. "You didn't have to," I said. Softer this time. "I wanted to." I stepped aside, and not to hide. "Come in." He hesitated only a moment before nodding. We settled in my kitchen, the scent of fresh coffee blending with the buttery warmth of pastries. He sipped his drink, fingers tracing the cup's rim absently. "You seemed different last night." I ventured at last, his eyes flicked up, unreadable. "How so?" I sighed, fishing for the right words. "I don't know, quieter. Maybe more serious." He raked a hand through his hair. Guess I was just lost in thought about. He paused, then locked eyes with me. "About you." My stomach dipped. "Ethan?" He leaned forward, quick and earnest. "I know this might sound nuts, and I don't want to weird you out, but last night felt different, right?" I gripped my coffee cup tighter. I could dodge it, laugh it off, but the truth sat there playing his day. "Yes," I whispered. Barely audible. He exhaled slow, like he'd been holding his breath. I don't know when it hit me. Maybe it's always been there, tucked away, and I only just saw it. My heart pounded against my ribs. This wasn't supposed to happen. I was 28 years older, had known him since he was a kid. But the person across from me wasn't that boy anymore. He He was a man steady and sure, looking at me like I was something he'd been searching for. I should have shut it down, nipped whatever this was in the bud. But then his fingers brushed mine across the table, lingering there waiting. For the first time in ages, I let myself wonder what if I didn't turn away. I could have pulled back, cracked a joke, reminded him I was just his neighbor and this was wild. But I didn't. The silence stretched my hand warm under his. My pulse racing, the air in my kitchen thickened electric. Ethan didn't push, just watched me, his deep brown eyes steady, holding something I couldn't quite pin down. Finally, I exhaled, sliding my hand back, breaking the spell. "Ethan," I said. "Softer than I meant, this is..." I fumbled for words. Unexpected, he finished. A small, nervous smile tugging at his lips. I let out a shaky laugh, that's one way to say it. "I didn't plan this, I swear, Mom," he said, rubbing his neck. "But last night, being with you talking, it hit me I've never met anyone like you." A sharp pang pierced me, "Ethan, I'm 52. He tilted his head, a playful spark in his eyes. "And you're a grown man," he said. Holding my gaze, I know what I feel. I'm not mixed up here. I press my palms to the table, steadying myself. It's not about confusion. It's about what's real. What's real? He asked, gentle. "That I'm too young, does that even matter?" I swallowed hard. Maybe it should. He studied me quiet for a long moment. "Is that what you truly think? Or just what you feel you're supposed to say?" That landed deep. I spent years boxing myself into what was right. Careful and guarded. But the way Ethan saw me really saw me stirred something I hadn't felt in forever. "Ethan," I sighed, shaking my head, "this isn't easy." His smile was boyish, yet bold. "I'm okay with messy." A laugh slipped out, light and unexpected. "Of course you are. I mean it," he said, grin widening. "I don't know where this takes us or what it even is. But I know I can't stop thinking about you. I don't want to pretend last night didn't happen. Neither did I stood needing space and gripped the sink's edge. "If we go there," I whispered, "there's no undoing it." Silence hung heavy. Then his voice came calm and sure. "I know." I turned slowly, facing him. Letting the truth settle, I should have said no. Ushered him out with a polite thanks for the pastries. But I didn't want to that night. Lying awake, I kept replaying his steady gaze. He wasn't unsure, he knew what he felt. Could I let myself feel it too? Morning dawned with a new clarity. I was tired of living, scared of sticking to the proper path that left me alone. A stranger to myself, I wanted to breathe again. To live. Days passed before I saw him next. I was watering my garden when his voice cut through the quiet. "Hey, stranger." I turned, shielding my eyes from the sun. There he was, leaning against his car, watching me with that same unreadable look. "Avoiding me," he teased. "No bite in it." I needed to think, I admitted. He nodded like he got it. "And I'm scared," I added. Voice small. He stepped closer, solid and steady. Of what this means, what people will say. Of getting hurt." His face softened. "I can't promise it'll be smooth or simple. But I can promise I won't hurt you. And I don't give a damn what anyone thinks." I searched his eyes, no hesitation. No doubt fear could have won, convinced me this was foolish. But standing there with Ethan, seeing me as worth the risk, I knew I didn't want to run anymore. So I didn't. I reached for his hand, our fingers sliding together in a quiet, unspoken vow, his smile slow real, brimming with something deeper than just fondness, told me I'd chosen right for the first time in too long. I wasn't just drifting, I was alive. Please remember to leave your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to my channel for additional content.